Hi folks, welcome back. Continuing my less editing video here, my attempt to quit spending so much time editing. I'm going to make this sort of like a, how would you say, a summary video. Working with my old LiftMaster CSL 24 that's probably about 8 years old now and won't work. Main problem is the electronic motherboard. And when you get this old, by the time you pay for a motherboard and maybe a power supply and the labor, you might as well just get a new one. That way you got 5 years of labor warranty back with it. Well, let me take you through and show you what I've been doing. I've taken the case and cut it back so that the output shaft, which goes right here, can stick through. Made another one of my patented access holes. All right, wasn't patented access holes. It's a screw up machine. Screwed it up big time. I've had to move it down here for the speed control. Turned out that right there was hitting right here, and I couldn't slide the thing all the way in. So we changed it. This is all that is left of the LiftMaster product. I've taken all the electronics off, power supply and everything else. The only thing is LiftMaster is this metal framework, this 24-volt motor, and this gear reducer. I've taken the sprocket that was on the gear reducer, I took it off, and I welded it on the back of this steel plate that I made for this old chuck I have. I had to make a new backing plate. I was going to insert these cap screws into it, but I screwed up and the saw wandered off course, so this is all I could get out of a good back screw, and this is all back in the back. It won't matter anyway. Now, if I was making it for somebody, I would have started again, but it suits the purpose. Now, this is the grounding bonding strap, so that the welding lead comes here and then goes in. Now, Don called me up after the last video and says, well, what is your thought between that? And I said, well, you don't want it running through all the gears coming up through the frame like this. I said, now it goes to here and can go directly this way. Then he said, well, what about eddy currents? I said, I don't know about eddy currents. I have enough trouble with Dawn currents. So that's either here or now. You know, in Afghanistan, Pakistan, they don't waste money on a long negative ground loop for the welder. They just take and put a piece of rebar on it and weld it like that way. All their lathes that they weld on are just hooked up to the base. And it goes through everything. I think this is a better way of doing it. I looking through my drawers, found that little bushing that was a mistake for something else, and I turned it into that right there. I made a bushing here that went all the way through and it isolates this bolt through it. Goes on to a grounding lead that I stuck out the side there. And that used to be an old welding, what did I call that? For leads going into an old welder. I made an extra one and it turned out just right. I need to push that out. But when the cover goes on, it'll keep it from going in and hitting that and isolating. And I guess I could put another screw on it or a tie. We'll see. Well, that's all that's left of after the wiring comes out of the LiftMaster motor. And when you're looking to build something like this, always get a DC motor so you can manage the voltage. As I say, I took everything out but that motor, and I replaced it with a new power supply that goes into a new fuse, and then goes out here over to the speed control down there. And I left it long like this so I could take that on and off if I never needed to work on something. So now back to the part of this video explaining this mistake. Unlike the other one I made out of the CSW24, which has a output shaft coming out of the top, when I put this big old weight on the end, this chuck here, this thing wanted to tip over. So I needed to add some extra weight. And down there is a piece of weight that I used off of an old telescope that I built a long time ago. Came in handy. For about 15 years, it's been holding the door open to the shop. Had a hole through it and bolted right up with just the weight I need to make this steady. Some lockable casters go on the bottom. Then the only thing coming out that you really worry about is down there is the plug. And you got to unplug this when you're using it, or excuse me, when you're not using it, because there's no switch to turn off that power supply. Let's see if I can bend over here and plug this in. Oh, ground's gotten a lot farther away. Blame that on Don too. So that came on. That power over here. Nothing's going right now. I'm going to go down here and turn this rheostat. And let me get this wheelchair moved around. Now I can get it to go down lower, slower, slower, slower. It gets down into this area. I can go a little bit slower. It's still too fast. So what do you do? Well, this power supply also, or speed controller also lets you do it in reverse. So that's the good part. Now the bad part is it's still too fast. The horizontal, this is the horizontal, the vertical model I made is perfect in timing. But this one needs a little help. Now, I'm back down to what the heck can I do? See here, I was counting up the threads, or excuse me, the teeth on that pulley, and it's coming out to 104. And that pulley is, I think, 40. Well, my first thought was to see about getting a larger one of these, but that was very difficult. And the one that I could find were going to be about $120. So if I can't do this, I immediately pivoted to the smaller one and got an even smaller one of those. This was like $12, $15 shipped. It's an M3 belt, and this one has 24 teeth on it. And you can see it's a little bit different than that one, quite a bit, actually. Well, getting one of these for, I wasn't even looking, getting one of these for a reasonable price was pretty cool. This was not reasonable, and I had another problem that if I got a much bigger one, I think it would hit the bottom of the cover. So this was $15, showed up in 7 days, and that's what I've been waiting on. Now, that is a 12.7 millimeter shaft coming out. This is a 12, but like I say, when you have a lathe, got lots more options. So we're going to put this on bob. We're going to take this off, put this on bob, bore it out to that, and we'll see how far the revolutions go down. I think it should be about the best we can do. I'm back. Did you miss me? Okay. First, we're going to need something tiny enough. Get this screw out. I've got another one of these coming in later. Should be about 7 or 8 more days. You know, these are so small. I'm going to just look how small that is. Might have to put bigger ones in. The next one coming in has got the set screws through this part. So I figured I could do that if I needed to. Okay, let's take that off. Put that over here. You know, I bought a bunch of magnetic plates. Did I ever tell you about the time I went to work on the SV Seeker? And there was a man there from France volunteering at the same time. And he told me that the tools in France are just outrageously expensive. So he wanted to buy tools before he went back. So we jumped in the truck and ran around and took him to a wood tool shop. He was impressed with that. I mean, he was like a kid in a candy store. You know, I don't know what that's going to be, either metric or that one did it. Y'all watching? No. We were in Tulsa, and Doug drove us over to the Harbor Freight place, and I looked through that whole store, and the only thing I needed was some of these little magnetic bases, cups. So I bought some, got them here, and the first thing, the magnets all fell off. It's pretty sad. Okay, now I've got that loosened. I need some way to get it off. Well, I went looking around for something, and first thing, I guess I could put a gear puller on it, but I'm hoping that it'd just pop off with something like this. Well, there it comes. Yay. Well, that was strange. It came almost all the way and then stopped. Maybe this will be easier to make it come off with. It's easier for me to get a hold of it. Dang. Well, it slid. It's that old thing that doesn't work. Get a bigger hammer. I'm going to force it back in. And I'm going to file down the end of this shaft. Hopefully it's got a little burr on it that's making it harder to get on and off. Gotta get a file now. I think there's one over on Bob. There's Bob. Now these, I bought a set of, and 3 of these or 4 of these, and 4 of those are like 50 bucks. But for some reason, they fall off of the beast. I put them on there, and the next day I'll come and they'll be down on the ground. I hope you can see. We'll keep an eye on it. Don sent me a picture a couple days ago, and one of his summer improvements to his house was to completely block off all the openings underneath. He's kind of in a flood zone. So he is, when he built the house 20 years ago, he built it about 6 feet off the ground, and he poured a ring of concrete, and then the piers came up from it. And so to keep his house warmer this year, he's gone underneath and put cement cinder tile blocks around the whole thing. He's nearly through with that. He says he got 3 more openings. I asked him if he had put a door to get out. Otherwise, he'd paint himself into a corner like Lucy did. I couldn't get him out. I just laughed like hell. Anyway, with that finished, he'll have more time to come over here. And I got so many projects that my wife has wanted me to fix that now this is something that affects a lot of people. So I'll tell you what I did. When I got sick, which has been 11 months ago, my wife said she just wandered around the house aimlessly staring out the window. She was very, very, very depressed. And one of the things that was stressing her is, what the hell am I going to do with this shop? We're going to sell the house, but what do I do with the shop and all this junk he's got everywhere? Well, junk is in the eyes of the beholder. And I'm pretty high up in the food chain there, so not at the bottom, not at the top. I made a deal and asked Don and my son Brian to reassure her that if I wasn't here or I couldn't get it done, they would take care of emptying the shop and getting it sold or whatever. Well, I'm doing a lot better now. And I doubt if I'd ever be able to hold a job. I can work for about an hour and then I have to rest for 4. Anyway, she and I have been pretty entangled with what the hell to do. I think it's one of the best shops in the world. For years I've been trying to buy a machine and trading machines and making machines that would facilitate doing anything I wanted to do in here. About the only thing I'm not going to do is cast iron pouring. That's pretty violent. But anyway, I can plane, and I've got a 4-foot hydraulic brake. Got all kinds of welders and cutting things and torches and machinery out the ass. And she's been really, really upset with what we're going to do if I die. So we kind of came to an agreement this weekend that if I would clean this shop up, which is a big distraction, like I got all kinds of these dang opener motors out there that we brought to the front of the shop after I'd been getting one of each different kind to show you. And it sat there during this whole 11 months because that was before I got sick. So I need to get rid of them. 2 people have asked for one. If you want one, please respond and I'll keep one for you. We're just outside of Houston, about 60 miles up towards College Station. But anyway, I got to get all this shit cleaned up, she said. And then she would feel a lot better. So we're going to have an enhanced getting rid of some of this stuff. That's all I got to say about that. I think we're going to make it. Fall in that little... Well, you're not watching. My God. Spend all this money on cameras and y'all don't even watch. I tell you what. That right there is getting pretty tough. But I've got it about half off. Let's see if I can stand up and get that can of WD. Oh shit. Oh. I got it. And I'm going to spray here. I'm going to spray in here. I'm going to take the old knocker and knock it back in there. That looks good. Do that again. Just take our time, we get it off. Almost off. Ta-da! That's what it looked like. Got a lot bigger than these little screws in it. Oh, and that's the difference in size. So I'm hoping this little bit will give us enough reduction. If I can't make this bigger, I have to make that one littler. I don't really care about millimeters for this. I'm going to convert it anyway. Okay. $503. $498. So if I were to ream that to 5 inches, 501. If I take a reamer and ream this out, that's a pretty fast way of doing it. Well, this one seems to be 468. So we'll take off, we're going to do 30 thousandths to get that diameter up. I'll bring you back when I get Bob all set. Well, over at Bob here, I got to find some way to hold this. This rim is very thin, and if I put that in the jaws of a chuck, I'm going to have problems. But I've got this flange shoulder sticking out here that I think I can get that in and then run this reamer through it. I don't know if I can just do the reamer itself or drill for it. We'll see. Got to get a collet for this, and I've been looking, and that may be good. 47/64. I think that'll hold it nice. Go ahead and get that off. Now, if it's going this way and it stops, it would make it come this way. So it needs to come this way. There we go. Don't have the strength that I had before, so maybe that's why it didn't come off so easy. This down, get rid of this, get a rag, clean all that out real good. Don't use air hose on this because I don't want to be blowing chips in there under high pressure. Slide it in, and there's a little pin in there that goes in. And that's a little too tight. Can't get the collet to lock open. That's a little loose. Now, why is that locked tight? Probably because I haven't used it very much. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. Okay. Well, you're going to have to go back that way some. So that was getting it too tight. There we go. That'll work fine for what we need to do. Now, I know I've got a 1/2-inch reamer. I forgot what I had for... Where is it, guys? Cut taps. Let's just go up to this one. 0.50. 0.50. A 31/64. I don't have any 12 millimeters, 12 and a half. So the nearest size underneath is going to be 31/64. I don't know if I have a bit that size. Let's see. Fraction drills, number drills, letter drills, taps with drills. This is the neatest thing I've ever got. You keep your drill and your tap right there together. So I know those are all carbide cobalts. Let's see what we got. Let's go find 1/2-inch. 1/2-inch down here. 31/64 is right beside it. We've got a couple in there. Got to order some things. Pardon the bug. It's been a while. Dang cane fall in the... It's always something, as they would say. Now, I'm going to put you guys over here. Lock you in with this. I don't know if this will go up to that size. Luckily it does. And if I go all the way back over here where the stop is, the cross feed, I know that this tool holder bore, I had lined it perfectly with a bore. So I know it's in good shape. Crap, now I got to go turn on the... Let's pull old Bob and put him in gear. Gonna go forward. Now, take and put this back in its drawer slot. That didn't didn't mess it up enough to where it needs to be resharpened. Now we're going to put this reamer in. And we're going to get a little lubricant. WD-40 works well for this. WD-40 and aluminum like each other. Okay, now I'm just going to feed this carriage, or from this wheel, in as we're rotating. Easy as that. Now, we have a bigger opening, and that shoulder's still good enough to have all threads on it with the set screw. And kind of pushing it in around in my mind whether I wanted to drill another hole in the middle and put another set screw that would act as a keyway, or key for a keyway, because that's what this other one had. Then that allowed those littler set screws to hold on. Tell you. Where are you? You're over there. Come back over here. And let's see if that reaming did enough. You know, I could hammer that on, but I'm going to go take it back and ream it again with the reamer. Oh. Maybe just take another thousandth or so off. It's what makes collets so nice. You can put them right back on. Okay, forward. I think I got some. Sure didn't feel like it, but I think I might have got enough. If we didn't, we're going to come over here and adjust this wheel out, maybe 1/2,000, and that would give me a little more cutting action on one side of that hole. Tell you, my back's just about at the limit of what it can do right now. When I walk, I sit straighter up and it pushes on a couple nerves in the back. Well, you idiot, maybe want to turn around and make sure the keys. Man, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to blame it on Don. Really made a huge mistake again. Come on, you ought to pop out of there like a beat banana. wondering if I tap on the end of that, if it'll flex up any. Won't hurt to try. Just don't do it too big, too hard, or you'll mess up the bearing in there. Let's see. Let's see if this will tap in going backwards. Felt like it gave. You sit there till I can hit you. Don't move. Think it's coming out. This doesn't work very well when you have two shaking hands. That loosened it up enough. I moved it forward. Can you all see? Moved it forward to the end of this. Let's see if I can. I'd have to go get some vice grips, but only have like 1/8 of an inch to hold on to. Let's try hitting it with a hammer again. Maybe if I put this up here, I can hold it better. I want it to go down like that to stop shaking. Went all the way back again. I'm going to pull it forward one more time without seeing if it will, well, I don't know if I can get this back now. It's always something. You know, I can go get a set of vice grips. Made it go back enough where now this part is up. And I've got more room to grab a hold of that. So if I can just grab it and pull up, maybe tapping it. Luckily I know where I'm going to have to take the wheelchair. I'm kind of tired. I'll be back. All right. I'm back. Got me a root beer while I was at it. You know, I've been experimenting a lot with YouTube to determine why and how to get more viewers. And one thing I've noticed is a lot of people come back, but a lot of people tell me they don't have any notification. Got it. Yeah. That was just a little thin piece. We'll keep that around for something. And what I found was, you know, we tell you to subscribe and hit the little bell. Well, I don't do it a lot because I think most of you probably heard that all your life now. But there's different hitting the bells. Look at your bell right now and tell me if it's an outline of a bell or a solid bell. Because when you click on the bell, it gives you options. And I found that you need to hit the black so you get all notifications. Otherwise, that's the only thing I can think of right now. I think that's going to be fine. I've got it on there about half a quarter right now. You know, I'm going to go with this. Problem is, I wiped off the original belt. What I think I'm going to do is get a straight edge and line up on this and then lay it here until we come to the right depth, because that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, back to the bell. That bell needs to be black to get most of the subscriptions. And another thing I've noticed is that sometimes you don't have a straight edge handy. Well, I went and got this one. This is the pink one I keep around so Don don't steal it. Oh, Don doesn't do anything like that. He's a pretty good guy. Now, keep it like this. It'd be nice if this thing was a lot thicker. I could just clamp it onto the back of that. That would be, but it doesn't have any. It's got bend in that dimension. So the only place it doesn't have any bend is going to be like this. Oh, it went in easy that time. Just tapping easy. Here it snapped up there when it went up. I think that's perfect. I'm going to go with these little bitty tiny. I wish I knew what size this was. I don't know if it's metric or what. But lucky for me, I got a way to check it. I know what size this one was. It was the end. And if I put it on there, it'll be a lot easier to check it. If I can get it on there. There we go. All right, let's go over here. Put you guys up here and hang you down so you don't look at my ugly face so much. I'm going to put this new there. This cane I've been trying out. The other night, my wife took me out to eat dinner at a little place about 15 miles from here. And we got there, and she didn't have the walker in the car. I said, oh, that's not good. So we had to come back. So we ordered another cane. As long as I can keep my balance, I can walk. I don't think this one goes down far enough for that. Now this one is, well, this one is the big one. I got two little ones, and then I got this big one that goes all the way up to 1-inch threads. And I don't know how far down it goes. The lack is, they assemble all this stuff in Mexico, so I never know what's what. Well, that one's not going in. That went in all the way and feels pretty good. an M4-017. Now, I don't have very many Mac taps for that. Let's go up here to this one. This short one doesn't go down that far. It goes down to probably, well, it may be that. What are you? Well, you look, of course you're that. It's the same stupid thing, dummy. Let's see, 632, which would be wonderful if that's what it was. It gets cross-threaded in there. There's only a couple threads in there. Let's see about this one. 8/32. Let me go look and see if I can find an 8/32 to go in there deeper. I'll be back. Well, I got out there where stuff was and couldn't remember if it was 6/32 by 8/32. I have some 6/32 set screws. I don't have any 8x32s. So I was going to come back and I found this one. And we're going to see if this one, that goes in pretty good. It won't go in there, so it's got to be an 8x32. Well, I found this one. Let's see if I can steady it up enough that the threads don't go all the way. That would be perfect for it sitting inside a keyway. It's got a slot-headed screw on it, which that really doesn't matter because the belt won't ever touch it. Nothing ever catch on it because it'd be in there. So we'll keep you for later, and I think we'll use this one. Now, I put one in already and haven't tightened it up enough. But there, you can look in that hole and see the alignment. Now, I don't know how easy it's going to be to twist that where it's, but it's worth a shot. Just got to figure out how I'm going to do it. If I take these and open it up and just set it lightly on the outside, I don't think I'm going to need much. I'm just going to put a little bit of pressure on it that way. And then I'm going to stand right here. Let's make sure that I didn't tighten that other one up. Well, I did a little bit. So that's good. I might not have a problem. I did. Yay! So now you can see that I can get that screw all the way into that keyway. I didn't get a bigger hammer or anything to really brute force it. So this can go in and then go into that keyway and it'll be long enough to stay there. Get a screwdriver. That way, that'll allow that to go into that hole all the way and keep it from turning. That's good. That's good. Okay. Now, see if we're going to have to move this motor back much. Boom, 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 boom. It's got 4 mounting bolts on it, and it looks like it's pushed all the way back right now as it can go. And I need to go back to get this slack out. So I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to take that motor off and elongate those mounting holes where I can move it back at least half an inch, maybe 3/4. And that's boring. So I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Sorry I'm going slower than normal, but it's all I can do. Bye-bye.